We've got Scotty Kuhner here from Insight Motorsports with this pretty insane Holden Astra, which is running in Pro-Am. And the first thing that caught my eye was obviously the aero. Nothing too unusual there when you walk around the World Time Attack paddock, but front wheel drive, particularly with the sort of power levels you guys are seeing, is obviously a little bit of a challenge. Can you tell us a little bit about the power package for a start? What's the engine?
This is a 2-litre Astra factory engine that's been heavily modified, and turbocharged. It runs a Borg-Warner EFR 7163, and it's a pretty powerful 500 horsepower engine. 500
horsepower at the wheels?
470 at the wheels, so probably a bit more than that actually.
So this car's started life though as, I think you said, improved production race car, is that right?
Yeah, it was originally built as an improved production race car and never raced as such. And the owner decided that he'd go a little bit more crazy on it and go and do a bit of time attack instead.
With it being front-wheel drive, do you find with those sort of power levels around 500 wheel horsepower, getting that aero, that downforce at the front end makes a big difference to the traction and how much power you can get to the track?
Yeah, most definitely, for sure. I mean, at the moment we're struggling for traction now. We have a bit of drivetrain issues with this car. It's its first outing. But in any case, front-wheel drive is very difficult to get the power down.
Just talking about that transmission, again, front-wheel drive cars, you don't have maybe the luxury of the range of transmissions we've got available for rear-wheel drive. And what have you done to the transmission to keep that reliable?
Well, this has got a custom-made PAR dog transmission. Ordinarily it would have a Nismo clutch limited slip diff in it as well, but it's currently got its standard open centre at the moment, which is proving a little bit impossible.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a lot of fun trying to get that around the track. Talking about engine management, what have you got in there?
This is running Mtron KV8 at the moment, and it's pretty much set up with a Motec data acquisition system and PDM.
In terms of data, what are you actually monitoring on the car?
Most of your motorsport data that you'd normally be looking at. So this car's got suspension sensors, pressure sensors everywhere, steering angle and so forth.
When the driver comes back in after a session, what's the first thing you're looking at that data after that session to try and improve it for the next round?
Well, the first thing we do is we look at the engine health, make sure that's all okay, and then after that we might look at some of the suspension data and see what the car's doing in terms of the chassis. And then we make some decisions from there as to what we can do.
Now, you were telling me earlier, though, you've got some pretty big plans in the future for this car. Didn't quite make it for this round here for World Time Attack, but what have you got in the pipeline in terms of a new engine combo?
Well, the engine combo that's actually meant for this car is a Honda K24 race engine that we built for it, and a Quaife racing transmission with paddle shift, and vicinity around 1,000 horsepower.
Okay, so 1,000 horsepower through front-wheel drive, that's got to be a serious challenge. And when we're talking about 1,000 horsepower from a 2.4 litre engine, we're almost getting into the vicinity of drag engine power bands, which is going to be even more challenging. What tricks are you using to try and get that power to the ground and manageable by the driver?
Well, this is a bit of an engineering experiment, I guess you would say. Most of it will be done electronically, so we'll be looking at methods of limiting the engine's torque and managing the torque basically for the whole lap. So, in certain places we will be able to deliver the power, and obviously some places we won't be able to. And I would say front-wheel drive is the most difficult to do that with.
Can you give us some insight into what methods you'll be using for that power control?
Yeah, certainly electronic throttle control methods, active traction control, and some, I would say, preemptive traction control as well. And those sort of systems will be based on the data that you're getting, so you'll have to extract quite a bit of data, get some idea of what you're at with the package, and then apply it electronically.
I'm guessing one of the hardest parts there is with these sort of engines with large turbochargers, they tend to ramp up on boost very, very quickly, and obviously what that translates to is a huge and very fast change in torque that the engine's producing over a narrow RPM range. So that's the area you kind of need to focus on?
Yeah, well, the engine in mine will have quite a broad power band, but a lot of our methods will be to make sure, obviously, we can get the turbo to come on, but it will be about dulling the engine to some degree before you can actually try to use the horsepower, because we'll be using most of the time less than 50% of the available power. So it'll be just about trying to see how much of it we can actually get down to the track.
Well, look, it's an impressive looking car already, and certainly be interested to see what it does with 1,000 horsepower. That should definitely wake it up. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens next year. Thanks for chatting to us today, Scotty.
Cheers, thank you, Andre.
For online tuning courses, visit learntotune.com.